During this course we discuss a number of 21st century skills. These are skills that can be developed through innovation in learning and teaching, particularly involving effective use of technology. We're going to start with collaboration, and collaboration simply means encouraging students to work together in groups or in pairs. You probably already support your students in doing this, so let's think a little bit about the quality of that collaboration and what those students can be achieving. Let's ask some important questions. Do those students work together effectively? Do they have a shared responsibility for their work? At the same time, is it possible to see their individual contributions in the work they're doing? And how effectively do they make decisions together? Now, working alone and independently is also an important skill, but we focus on collaboration because so many jobs in the modern working world require people to get on well together, work together, come up with ideas together, and generally collaborate effectively. And inevitably, technology is used a lot in this collaboration. So sharing ideas through emails, wikis, blogs, communicating through texting or video conferencing, this all makes up part of the modern world the young people are going into. So let's think for a second about what you do in the classroom, your learning activities, and how effectively and how well you're preparing young people for that future world career they're moving into. We talked to some teachers who are involved in the iTech project, and we asked for their ideas and views on collaboration in their classrooms. And this is what they told us.
My name is Stefan Reppe. I come from Norway. I teach at a school called Charlottenlund Ungdomsskole. It's an upper basic school. The students are from 12 to 16 years old. There's about 360-70 students at our school. And I teach in mathematics, science and religion.
My name's Kerry Shoebridge. I've been teaching for 2 years. I'm a PE teacher in the UK, in Birmingham.
I'm Carlos Cunha. I'm from Portugal. I teach at a secondary school named Escola Secundária Dom Manuel Martins. I teach physics and chemistry to students from 13 to 18 years old.
I'm Margaret Allen. I work at Broadwater School, Broadwater C of E School in Worthing on the south coast. I teach Year 3, which are 7 and 8 year olds.
Collaboration, I think, is well, pretty much embedded in the PE curriculum. Every practical thing that we do is all group work. You know, we do a lot of games, so they're working within teams. And I like to take that into the classroom. I think collaboration is important because it enables the students to take a bit of ownership of what they're doing. It makes it less scary, so they're not having to say it in front of 30 students. They can just say what they want to say in front of 3 or 4 students.
In the real life, you are more and more dependent on collaborating with others. I don't think there's many jobs anymore that you sit alone in your office and don't talk to other people.
They can learn from each other, and they can really use their strength to help the others and to make the team stronger, because they learn that if they work together, and since one is very strong in communication and the other in ICT and so on, they learn that if they collaborate with each other, each one learns from the other who knows more than him in something, and the team is stronger than if they work for their own.
It's much easier to be creative in a group than being creative by yourself. I don't think many people is very creative just by themselves, but when you talk and interact with other people's and maybe people who is quite different from yourself, that's fundament for creativity, I think. And of course, in the group you can benefit from the other people's from other people's skills.
Group collaboration, sharing should be part of a journey, and the more that the children do it and the more that they learn from their peers, the more excited they're going to become, because those less able are the ones who tend to sit back and don't necessarily offer very much. That's not because they can't, it's because they don't necessarily have the confidence. And often it's those children who aren't able to communicate with pen and paper or on a piece of technology, verbally are very capable and practically are very capable.
I have my students from 8th, 9th and 10th grade. And in the 8th grade I often control how the students collaborate. But when the students are getting to know each other better, they learn to recognize who they work good with and who they don't work good with. I tend to let them choose their own groupings and how they will collaborate.
As I'm going to knowing the students, I change groups and I try to move to organize groups with different skills students, different strengths. And you have a student who is very strong in communication, and another in ICT, and another on the lab practice and so on. And so they understand that they have a role on the team, so they have to work together in order to have the best work.
If I've got 6 groups of 6 or 5 groups of 6 working independently, then I need to make sure that 3 or 4 of them are very comfortable getting on with something, so that the group I'm working with, I can ensure are getting my full attention. And to enable that discussion to really get somewhere, to stretch them and to pull out some of those concepts that are difficult for children to grasp. I do think that if you have a culture where children appreciate that that's what's expected of them, they will rise to that.
Making sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do, that's just, you know, it coincides with taking a step back, is having the management to know what they're doing. They could be on their iPads playing games. It's having the management to know what they're doing. And I think assessment might be a bit of an issue or a bit of a struggle, because it's not going to be the traditional testing. It's finding different ways to assess them, so maybe using peer assessment.
We can do more with audio, we can use microphones, we can talk to children and capture the way in which they're discussing, so that I can reflect that child actually, they aren't writing it down, they don't necessarily know the answer, but I talk to them about Africa. They understand about the climate, they understand about the poverty, they understand that there's a difference between African bush and African city. They understand about some of the traditions and cultures. How on earth do you capture that? By asking them a test question, answer the right, a multiple choice. Impossible.
The technologies make the sharing process easier and give the students a wider range of methods of publishing or sharing or presenting their own works, I think. In our school we use a lot of presentations in the class. They can also be made online, of course. They make short movies by using pictures or moving images or animation.
There was 5 or 6 girls in a group, and they were all given a specific role. It was all to do with research. So one girl used her notebook, a little netbook laptop, and she had to research different games that she could find, any games, any sport that she'd like. Another girl then used an iPad to go and interview a lady, a girl from another classroom, so then they used that iPad and used the data that they got from the interview. And then we collated that all together on the smart board, so then everybody could see all the research that they'd done on a smart notebook page. So
I do believe that technology is about enhancing teaching and learning. It shouldn't be the driver. It should actually be something that helps teachers initiate and become more multimedia driven. But actually teachers are creative and innovative and capable, and so technology should be seen as something that they can take on and help their teaching. And we shouldn't forget that fundamentally technology is an optional extra which students have a right to have in their learning. At home they have all of the multimedia at their fingertips, so when they come to school they should also have it there. But we should also ensure that we have a realistic view of the future classroom.